All right, let's get right into it. If you're a seasoned real estate agent, you know there comes a point where your relationship with the day-to-day grind starts to change. But what if I told you there's a powerful and honestly super overlooked model to make sure your business keeps working for you? Today, we're going to break down the referral brokerage. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? You've spent years, maybe even decades, building up this incredible network of relationships, a stellar reputation. So when you decide to step back from handling every single transaction yourself, what happens to all that value you created? Does it just disappear? Look, every agent gets to this crossroads eventually. For some of you, it's a deliberate choice. Maybe you're starting a new venture or moving into a leadership role. For others, it's just a gradual shift. The important thing to realize is that this isn't an end. It's an evolution of your career, and a really powerful one at that. And here's the magic of being in real estate. Unlike so many other jobs, the main asset you've built, that amazing network of people who trust you, it doesn't just vanish when you stop showing houses. It actually continues to hold an immense value. But, and this is a big but, here's the problem. If you don't have a real system in place, that value starts to leak away. You end up with what I like to call a leaky funnel, where all this potential income is just dripping away, all because of a little inaction. Just think about it for a second. Even if you're not actively prospecting anymore, your network is alive and kicking. The people you've worked with, they still see you as their go-to expert on all things real estate. The opportunities don't just magically stop because you've decided to slow down. And you see these opportunities all the time, right? A former client gets a new job and has to relocate. That first-time buyer from 5 years back is now ready to sell and find a bigger place. An investor you helped wants to add to their portfolio. Or, a cousin calls you out of the blue. It's happening constantly.
So what happens to all those calls without a formal structure? Well, those amazing leads often get handed off informally, with no compensation. Or even worse, they just get lost in the shuffle. You're basically and unintentionally just walking away from a really significant and steady income stream.
So, how do we fix this leaky funnel? This is where we get to the good part, the referral brokerage solution. It is all about creating a formal system to capture the value that your number one asset, your network, is already creating for you.
So what is it exactly? Well, a referral brokerage is just a structure that lets you stay connected, serve the people who trust you, and earn income, all without getting bogged down in the day-to-day grind of every single transaction. It makes your role as a connector official.
And the great thing is, there's not just one way to do this. You've got options. So let's break down the 3 main paths you can take to set this thing up and figure out which one might make the most sense for you.
Okay, let's run through these. First, you could just stay with your big firm. It's simple, administratively, but you gotta watch out for those monthly fees or the old-school commission splits that can really take a bite out of your referral checks. Second, you could join a smaller, more referral-friendly firm. They often give you more flexibility. And third, for anyone who wants total control, you can just start your own. It's way simpler than a full-on production office, but yeah, you'll have to handle some basic compliance and insurance.
And this right here, this is the most common mistake people make. Placing your license in a brokerage that's built for high-volume active producers is a huge financial misstep. Those fees and splits make sense when you're closing deals left and right, but they will absolutely eat away at your referral income when you're not.
Okay, so you've picked a path. Now what? Let's talk about the keys to actually making this work. The secret, really, is to treat your referrals with the same level of seriousness and structure as you would any active client. This is not a passive, set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The absolute biggest mistake is to pass on a name and just hope for the best. Without a system, referrals get stalled, clients get frustrated, and that income you were counting on, it just vanishes. Success really boils down to a super simple 2-step system. First, standardize your referral agreements. Get everything in writing every single time. Second, and this part is absolutely critical, implement a follow-up system. You need to require the agent you sent the business to give you a quick status update every 2 weeks. It keeps them on their toes and makes sure your client is getting top-notch service.
Now, why is all this so important? Let's make it real and look at the numbers, because this is where the power of this whole model really clicks. Let's just use a typical $500,000 sale as our example.
So on that $500,000 sale, let's say the agent you referred it to earns a 2.5% commission. That's $12,500. A standard 25% referral fee on that commission nets you $3,125. Think about that.
That's over $3,000 just for making a smart connection and following up, without managing a single showing or negotiation. Now imagine just a handful of those a year. It adds up to some really meaningful income.
You see, what this model really does is it reframes your entire career. It's not about stopping work, it's about evolving your role. You are making the transition from a hands-on producer to something much more strategic, a trusted advisor.
Let's just compare these two roles for a second. Your old role was the producer. You were deep in the trenches, managing every little detail. Your new role is the trusted advisor. Now you get to leverage all those years of experience to evaluate other agents, understand your client's real needs, and make the absolute perfect match. You're the connector, you're the strategist. And that brings us right back to the central idea here. After all the years in this business, your true legacy isn't the number of sales you made. It's the strength of the relationships you've built. That, right there, is your most valuable professional asset. Period.
So, the final question I want to leave you with is a simple one. You've built this incredible asset over your career. You have this amazing network that knows and trusts you. So, are you letting it work for you, or are you letting all that value just leak away? A referral brokerage ensures that your legacy, everything you've built, continues to pay dividends long after you've stepped away from the daily production line.